Hello, this is Ms. McLean, and I am going to look at two homework questions where we look at a histogram and a dot plot, and we want to make the connection with if those graphs represent normalcy, okay? So let's take a look at number 7 for this particular homework. Of course, your homework number could be different, okay? Just focus on the type of problem. So here we're given some data about some aluminum cans and their impurities. The amounts of impurities in percent were as follows. Okay, so we're given a bunch of decimals, and then we have to choose the correct histogram. So as I'm looking at these histograms, what I would do is try to find like something that kind of sticks out to where you can figure out from the data which one it would be. So kind of do like a process of elimination. So like what's sticking out to me right now is that two of the graphs have a really tall first bar, and then the other two, it's really low. So I know right away I can kind of cut my chances in guessing in half, or kind of figuring out which one's which. And so it looks like the first class is 0.5 to 1.5. So I'm going to come and look. So 0.5 to 1.5. And I'm just going to kind of quickly count and see how many that would be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like there is a good amount of data with that first class. So I'm thinking either A or C right now. Okay, so let's look at the differences between A and C. Looks like there's not much difference. So it looks like that 5.5 to 6.5. Yep, so it looks like at the end. So it looks like more so 7.5 to 8.5. Notice small, and then letter C, it's tall. Okay, so let's go back and let's count how many data items fall between 7.5 and 8.5. Okay, so 7.5 and 8.5. Nope, nope. Okay, so 1, 8.3. So that means it's really little. So that means it cannot be C. That means it has to be. All right, so let's move on to part 2. It says, explain how the histogram shows whether it's appropriate to treat this sample as coming from approximately normal. Meaning, I want this bell-shaped curve when I look at my graph here. So this was the correct graph, and we definitely do not have a bell-shaped curve. This mode here, that tallest bar, should be in the middle, and it should taper off on the side. So we definitely don't have that. Notice there's no gaps in this particular graph, so it's not like there's an outlier. There's no multiple modes. So to me, it's skewness. So we have a lot of data on the left and we don't have a lot on the right. So let's go ahead and look at those multiple choices. I think I hit all the choices. So outlier we don't have because there's no gaps. Skewness seems correct. More than one distinct mode, that's incorrect. None of these would belong to normal. So we have skewness, therefore we cannot treat this sample as approximately normal. So of course, yours might be a different type of histogram. So you just have to basically look at it. And hopefully my little trick in helping you pick which histogram is correct will kind of guide you and help you out with that. Like I said, I kind of just glanced at all the different graphs and saw what could I check with my data without actually creating a histogram myself, okay? So I'm gonna go over to number 6 real quick, and I'm just gonna talk about how to actually construct the dot plot. It's actually simple. When you scroll over it, the pencil appears. You do have an eraser if you need to make corrections. You can X, the X means you start all over. And then of course you have your undo button if you made a mistake and you want to undo it. Okay, so you literally just scroll over it and you're just going to click for each piece of data that you want to mark. So you just literally go and click and you're going to create that dot plot. So if I have more than 170, I click, notice it's going to create that height for me. Okay, so I'm going to undo because that's incorrect. But that's all you're doing for the dot plot. And then of course, after you do your dot plot, they're probably going to ask you, does your dot plot look normal? So do you have like a bell-shaped curve? Is the data spread out evenly? Okay, so it looks like my mouse is very sensitive. Looks like this one, the data is pretty spread out evenly. That's what it's looking like to me. So I don't have like an outlier way out here by itself. Data doesn't look skewed. So I'd say this one is it's looking normal to me. Let's check. So is it reasonable to treat the sample as approximately normal? I'm going to say yes, because our choices, we don't have an outlier. We don't really have skewness here. More than one distinct mode, we don't have that. In fact, the mode's all the same for this one. So I'm going to go with none of these because it looks normal to me. It's all spaced out pretty evenly. Okay. All right. So I hope you find this video helpful for your ALEKS problems. Of course, if you got questions, feel free to contact me.